perspectives. Today's businesses are always looking for technology solutions. However, finding a solution isn't that simple. And it's not just about putting things together. It's about IT orchestration. How do you know you're finding the right partner who can solve all your needs and create seamless experience for users? How do you handle that we're becoming a bring your own device work environment and that 42% of all BYOD users don't even know the guidelines of their own IT departments? I sat down with Neal Campbell, Senior Vice President, Strategic Solutions and Services for CDW at the C-Suite Conference in New York City to talk about IT orchestration, mobility, and the power of culture. How are companies dealing with that piece of transition, and what do you do to help them with that?
You talked about it a bit earlier this morning. Software is a big player in that. And one of the things, there's a lot of different business models that are taking place. And so, it was first companies supplied devices, and then it was BYOD, where people would bring their devices to the office. What we're seeing even increasing is total management of that.
Just all
device,
of it.
all of it all in.
And the employees bringing whatever device they have, and they own it in a lot of cases.
Either they bring whatever, or we're increasingly being brought into companies to do the complete lifecycle management, where you no longer even purchase a device. It's device as a service now.
It's swap out.
It's swap out, but it includes everything on top of that. Mobile security, capabilities at the air interface with respect to, as you take a company mobile and you get rid of the wires, there's a huge demand on the back-end network with respect to not only access points, but server storage, everything behind that. And so, you kind of think of the mobile device as this big sucking sound at the end of your network. And one of the things that we're seeing, especially with the advent of what's going on with touch computing with respect to tablets and mobile devices, is now there's creation at the edge of that network. Before it was just kind of consumption, I'm looking, but now we're seeing more and more companies develop more application space where there's actually creation at the edge. And if you have creation at the edge, that information and data needs to get back to some central repository to make it worthwhile for the enterprise that's bringing these technologies.
You see the companies set it up where their employees then buy the devices themselves, and you set up programs for the businesses to be able to access something like that?
I'd say originally what would happen, the company would supply the devices, and that's still a big chunk of business. What we're seeing increasingly, BYOD is clearly here, where people can come in, and typically what happens even at CDW, you come into the company and there's a small piece of software that's put on that would be a mobile device on a mobile device management platform that would add a security layer so that as you use your device maybe for personal use, you have a way to protect all of the corporate information that's on that device. Most companies just make it a matter of fact, if you're going to bring your device into our corporate network, you have to secure it and use our software on it. We have the ability to remote wipe any coworker's phone if they, in case of loss or any other security reason. And we're also starting to see this increasing, a lot of proposal work in this whole area of device as a service, where we would simply come in and provide that whole ecosystem from device to security to networking on a subscription basis.
How much of that has changed in the business in terms of your makeup of the business? So you look at $14 billion, give me an idea of, is it greater than $1 billion, greater than $5 billion?
On the mobility side, you have to step back and kind of, what is mobile, right? And so is cloud mobile? Yeah. It could be considered mobile, right?
But it's also not mobile, right?
It's also not mobile. It really depends on where you kind of draw those lines of demarcation. But depending on your definition, it's north of $1 billion with respect to what we're doing in kind of the mobile space and growing rapidly. And then if you start to include what's going on in cloud and then software around that, Office 365 and some of these things, the lines are really blurred with respect to what is mobile, because what mobile is, it's just an extension of your enterprise for the most part. And a lot of those capabilities that may have sat on a central server in a data center are now remoted.
And I see smaller businesses adopt this a lot sooner. I think about my own small businesses that I've had. Right. I see that adoption plan is more there than I see in the bigger enterprise operations. Mm-hmm. Is it still the case?
Well, I think we see great growth in our small and medium, large businesses. Oftentimes, as you know, right, smaller and medium-sized companies can just react.
Be more agile.
Quicker. They can be more agile. They may have, not that all companies don't want to get the efficiencies of mobile, because I think everything that you look at in the industry. If you can make your workforce mobile, there's huge productivity gains with respect to that. And so it's just the goal and really the magic is how do you create a seamless experience that you don't have multiple logins at a device and multiple layers of security to get into your corporate networks. How do you make that smooth and easy transitions? The other thing that we're seeing, especially with a lot of the applications that are now available on the cloud, is we'll go in and do an assessment, with a company or an enterprise and say, what are you trying to accomplish? And kind of what are your family jewels that you kind of want to keep behind your firewall? What are some things that you can move out to a public cloud? And more organizations are really moving to hybrid experiences there. And there's a lot of work that goes on there. It's not as seamless as everyone would hope, and the ability to move workloads or move applications to and from the cloud is becoming more and more important to companies as they realize, hey, it's not just what I decided today. I have to be flexible enough to understand that as this changes over the coming months or years, do I have the flexibility to offer solutions that kind of span both of those environments?
This is Jeffrey Hazlett. This has been Executive Perspective Live. I've been visiting with CDW about digital, mobile, and the future of your business.